first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our second item of business is oath of offices. If I could get the judge to come up and Briggs. The first person is Commissioner Jason Majerus. I think Briggs has got dots up there for you to stand on.
I get the chair. You got what I need to read off?
State your name.
Yep.
You know your name.
Yep.
You can read the words.
All right, perfect.
Raise your right hand. I, Jason Majerus,
I, Jason Majerus,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully and partially discharge the duties of the office of Goodhue County Commissioner for the County of Goodhue, State of Minnesota, to which I've been elected,
and that I will faithfully and partially discharge the duties of the oath of office of Goodhue County Commissioners for the County of Goodhue, State of Minnesota, to which I've been elected,
to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God. Supposed to read sheriff on it, but I thought that wouldn't.
And next is Commissioner Brad Anderson.
Sign in blue, no one will give them those. I, Brad Anderson, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Brad Anderson, do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of Goodhue County Commissioner,
and I will faithfully
and impartially discharge the duties of the office of Goodhue County Commissioner
and impartially discharge the duties
of the office of Goodhue County Commissioner
of the office of Goodhue County Commissioner
for the County of Goodhue,
for the County of Goodhue,
State of
State
Minnesota,
of Minnesota,
to which I've been elected,
to which I've been elected,
to the best of my knowledge
to the best of my knowledge
and ability, so help me God.
and ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next is County Attorney Steve O'Keefe.
Raise your right hand. I, Stephen O'Keefe, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Stephen O'Keefe, do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of Goodhue County Attorney
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of County Attorney
for the County of Goodhue,
for the County of Goodhue,
State of Minnesota, to which I've been elected,
State of Minnesota, to which I've been elected,
to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
Next is County Sheriff Marty Kelly.
All right, raise your right hand. I, Marty Kelly, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Marty Kelly, do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of Goodhue County Sheriff
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of
of
the
the
office of County Sheriff
for the County of Goodhue,
for the County of Goodhue,
State of Minnesota,
State of Minnesota,
to which I've been elected,
to which I have been elected,
to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
Congratulations. I wouldn't say that.
Congratulations.
Especially when you're up in front of people. Yeah. It's easy to trip on your tongue.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Congratulations to the four of you. At this time, I'd like to call the Mayor of Red Wing, Mike Wilson, up front. Go ahead and have a seat and give us a few words, Mike.
First of all, I'd like to apologize for not being here 2 years earlier because of that COVID. Everything was virtual, and that was one of my goals when I first got in office. I wanted to get up here and meet with all you folks face to face. Well, that didn't happen. So lo and behold, here I am today. So again, I'd like to apologize, but the reason I'm here, I just wanted to get to meet everybody on a face to face, on one-on-one situation here, and tell you that we're all in this sandbox playing this game together, and we got to work together. And I want to make sure we've got a good rapport amongst both bodies, and that I'm open to any discussions that may come forward. My office is always open to any of you to stop by anytime. I think it's very important to be able to communicate, and we've got a lot of stuff on our plates, and I think if we all work together, things will work very well. In the upcoming, I'd like to see possibly putting together where a couple of council people and maybe a couple of commissioners can get together on a quarterly basis just to keep the communication lines open. And that's my main I want to be open to everybody, available to all the citizens, and I think you all feel the same way. So I think it's very important. And I'm looking forward to working with everybody the next couple of years. Tonight we swear in, we got some new council people coming on board too, so I can't tell you what the flow of this new council will be, but I think you're going to see some changes coming, and it's going to be for the good, and good for the community, good for the county. Appreciate everything you do helping us with the library, the Historical Society, the waste campus we have here in the community is something I think we're going to have to work on some more too. It's a big operation we've got going there, and we're going to need your help in making sure that that works thoroughly too, and beneficial to everybody that was involved in the community and the county. So with that, I'll let you get to work. I just wanted to stop and say hello and meet and greet each one of you and wish you the very best for this coming year.
Thanks, Mike. Any questions for Mike?
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
I think it's actually.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea, getting.
Two commissioners ready for you. Thanks, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so. Okay, at this time, I'd like to ask if there's any nominations for the 2023 Chair of the County Board.
Mr.
Jason?
Administrator, I will nominate Linda Flanders for County Board Chair, and I'd also like to make a motion that we cease nominations and cast unanimous ballot in support of Linda Flanders for County Board Chair.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Congratulations, Linda.
Thank you very, very much.
I want to note, I think Linda's the first woman chair of the county commissioners.
Yes, I do believe
Yeah,
that.
so congratulations for that as well.
Thank you very much. All right, I would take my first job to request nominations for 2023 Vice Chair of the County Board.
Mr. Chair, I will nominate Todd Gresseth for Vice Chair for the Union County Board. I'd also like to cast a motion that we cease nominations and cast unanimous ballot in support of Todd Gresseth for Vice Chairs.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Commissioner Gresseth.
Congratulations.
Are there any disclosures of interest? All right, moving on to approve the previous board meeting minutes. Are there any changes, concerns?
Move approval as presented.
I'll second it.
Second, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion over the minutes? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Review and approve the county board agenda.
There are no changes.
All right, there are no changes. We've all had an opportunity to read over the consent agenda.
I would like to, just to approve the agenda,
All right.
but also at the end of the meeting, under new or old business, doesn't matter. Just talk about the committees. You all got a handout today with the committees. There's a couple on there that are going to disappear in the next year. So just so we talk about that
All right.
as we're looking at them. With that, I'd move to approve the agenda with that addition.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? All right, motion passes. Review and approve the following items on the consent agenda.
I will approve items 1 through 4, and I'd like to pull number 5 for discussion.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
Second.
All right, motion to approve first 1 through 4. It's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion passes. All right, number 5, approve the Zumbrota Mazeppa School District Law Enforcement School Liaison Deputy Contract for 2023 to 2026.
Yep. I guess my question, and I know Sheriff kind of talked to him a little bit on it, is we see the cost that the deputy costs us. Concern or question is, why are we giving the school district of Zumbrota Mazeppa a deal at 60%? If it's costing us $55 an hour, it should be paying $55 an hour. It should be same throughout the systems or other contracts. We're not giving any benefit to any other districts, so I'm not sure why.
When I came
I
out,
wouldn't have, I know where you're at, or there's backstory, but I'm just saying, I'm not gonna approve it at this. They should be paying
I
what it
I
costs
don't
the
know the
county to do it.
backstory.
So
yeah, just briefly.
that's my community, so.
Sure.
When I was in 2018, we were providing SRO services for Pine Island and City of Kenyon School District. But we were only charging about 25% at that time. And we did a 3-year contract with them. We started at 45%, went to 50, 55%, and then up to 60, which is the going rate. It's what the city of Red Wing charges this independent school district, 256. And it was just 60% was honestly the going rate, and we wanted to get to that point. It took us 4 years to do that, and now we're at the 60, and that's where we thought we'd leave it. And so that's why the 3-year contract at 60% moving forward is where we're at. So we've come a long ways in that regard.
Marty, do you have any idea what other sheriff's departments are doing with their school districts?
No, not officially, I don't.
Okay.
But, about 60% is normal.
And it's,
For the research we've done.
okay,
And we did it when 4 years ago. What is the reason we got to 60?
Mhm.
It took some time, and the school districts did push back a little bit. If we were to push it to 100%, there's no school district in this county that would have law enforcement in it. And the reason that we're in it is because we are a team with the schools. It's more, obviously it helps build relationships, but it's a preventative and so many more things. So for the county to pay 40%, which by the way, we get that SRO all summer for investigations and to backfill our law enforcement patrol. So it's a good relationship, and that's where we're at. So
Did the ZM school district pursue with the city of Zumbrota an officer, or is it just we were the first contact?
well, they had one city.
Okay.
And 2 years ago, they reached out to us, asked if we'd be interested in doing it. And until I heard from the chief of police down there, I wasn't going to step on anybody's toes. He said, no, Marty, you'd be doing us a huge favor because the city promised that I wouldn't lose that patrolman. So they were able to put the patrol deputy or the patrolman back on the road. And then we took it over at that point, at their request.
Is that officer available to respond to emergencies outside of the school district during the day?
Hours? Yes.
During the day?
Yes.
I mean,
Yep, and they do trainings, and if we need them to pull them, we pull them, and they have an understanding of that. That's how we operate, and they know that going in, so. And we've had a great relationship with both districts.
Sheriff, what other schools is there a deputy in?
Just Pine Island and Zimbrota,
All right. And does Pine Island pay the same thing?
yes.
Thank you.
When-
Yes.
I've been a proponent of this for a long time. Quite frankly, I wish we had a sheriff's officer in every school district. I know Red Wing does Red Wing, but I'm an advocate. This is a proactive approach. It is not a reactive approach. It's a proactive approach. And if we're going to change anything, it's got to be that way. So I am always been supportive of SROs. And I'm disappointed that it didn't work to keep one in Kenyon, Wanamingo. I would hope at some point we could get back to that place and do that. But I fully support SROs in every school district.
Well, when Zimbrota asked us, I said, it's really not up to me, it's up to the county board, because again, you are paying 40% of that deputy's position. And that wasn't for me to do, and the county board approved it. And you brought up that point 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Here we are, so.
if we're gonna make headway, you gotta be proactive. You can't be reactive. You know, it's too late when it's after the fact that you're there. You gotta be there in the beginning. It's just, so I fully support that, and I'd move the recommendation forward.
All right.
Well, I just have one question. Would it be possible to get some information? I'm not trying to hold up the vote on this, but going forward, it would be nice to know if what Goodhue County is doing is sort of consistent with what other counties in the state are doing. And I don't know if it's possible to
Oh,
get
yeah,
that information.
I can ask through AMC.
Okay,
There you go.
I'd like
Yeah.
that information.
All right, it's been moved. Do we have a second?
Is it a one-year contract?
3 years.
3 years, okay, all right. I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
I have more
Aye.
discussion.
Whoops, I'm so sorry.
So we have to understand that school resource officers are being done. Red Wing is taking care of Red Wing. Cannon Falls, I'm assuming is taking care of Cannon Falls. Lake City is taking care of Lake City. I don't know who's in Cannon Falls. I mean,
Nobody.
They don't have any.
They don't have any.
No.
That's their district's problem. That's their issue. I'm assuming Kenyon transitioned to the city of Kenyon since they took over. Does
Well,
anybody know?
there's an officer in town, but there's no officer in the school.
And those are districts, those school districts' issues. If they don't want to have an officer, they don't pay for it. Again, you have to remember Zimbrota, they had an officer there prior, and they were paying it probably the full rate, $70,000, $80,000. That was where the issue got in when they found out that the county had a severely discounted rate for Pine Island and Kenyon. I believe Lake City, I haven't heard back from the superintendent, but last conversations with him and the chief, they're paying pretty close to the same. There's not really much of a discounted rate. My only aspect is we're giving the school district of Pine Island and Zimbrota a severely discounted rate. Should we be giving Cannon Falls a discounted rate
Absolutely.
and coming out of the budget to get an officer in there? And that's up to their district to do that. I'm not saying take the school resource officers. These are district issues. Goodhue, I don't know, they got the officer come from the city to come in, but I have an issue looking at countywide saying, why are we giving a discount to Zimbrota only?
This is
And
the same
Pine
price as Pine Island.
I get you, but they don't. But the other districts, so why is the other districts, Red Wing, should we be giving them a discount?
Kenyon decided not to do it because of a budget cut.
Correct.
So they didn't want to pay 60%.
Each district to their own. So I'm just saying that it's
But there are
costing the county
citizens,
taxpayer.
but there are citizens.
You are
So
correct.
I fully support,
I get
that's what
that.
I'm saying.
Yep. And I get that people support it. I'm just saying that Lake City are citizens too. They're paying more for it. Goodhue, citizens also paying more for it. Red Wing, our citizens also subsidizing it. So just giving that outlet, we're subsidizing it from the city. It's something to think about. I get that we all support. I'm not saying take the school resource officers out. I'm just saying we're subsidizing those two districts.
I would say if Lake City came forward with something with the Wabasha County Sheriff's Department, because the school district is in, or the school building is in Wabasha County, we can't put an officer in a out county school building. If they come forward with something and we were going to pay a percentage of it because a percentage of that school is in Goodhue County, I'd support that too.
It's fine.
Same with Cannon Falls. They have Dakota County. They get citizens from Dakota County. If we did Cannon Falls, I would ask Dakota County to help contribute towards that. I would do that.
Zumbrota, Mazeppa's in good, Wabasha County too.
Yep, they haven't asked. If they asked, maybe we should be asking, but
And
that's another hurdle to get over.
I'm not sure, but I think part of the question is why should the county absorb what I think, Jason, you would say is a school district cost?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right, right. And my thought is we as a county law enforcement agency do have some obligation to provide services to everybody, including the schools. And whether or not the 60-40 is the right mix, I don't know that. But that's why I asked for the information about what other counties are doing. And I suppose the question that I would have is, do we have to do this as a 3-year contract? Or could we do a shorter contract and then take the time to gather more information and, you know, talk through different options? That would be my question.
Yeah, that'd be an option.
Sheriff,
That'd be up to the board, so.
Yes.
you said during the 3 months of summer that deputy is now back on the road and doing investigations or doing patrol.
Yeah, so we have two historically, or the last three years, we put one on patrol and one to help investigations in the summer.
All right, so that deputy really isn't in the school full year round anyway, correct?
Correct.
No.
So they're paying 60% of the annual?
They're paying 60% of, how many hours?
1,600 hours.
I see.
1,600 hours.
So 60% of the 9 months? Yeah, okay.
Any other discussion?
Do you have a comment?
Well, obviously, the structure is completely up to the board. But I was just going to add that if there's any other questions you want me to ask on this AMC survey, please get them to me. I mean, obviously, the type of numbers the counties have for school resource officers and how they're paid for, that type of questions, I know those. But if you have any others, let me know.
And is there any downside to doing it as a 1-year contract versus a 3-year contract? The school district probably wouldn't like that.
From a planning standpoint, probably.
I see.
A school's fiscal year starts July, goes to June, the end of June.
Okay.
So it's not like the county's schedule. It's totally different. So it's really, it makes it more difficult.
One more question. If they did not have the resource officer there, would that deputy would still have a job here in Goodhue County, I'm assuming? You know, it all depends on the situation, I suppose.
Well, if we were fully staffed, no, he wouldn't, or she wouldn't. We're not fully staffed. I don't foresee that being a problem, but,
Not for a while anyways.
right, yeah. So that,
Well, I guess-
the board is elected to put those extra bodies in the schools.
I would say I think I understand Jason's concerns and I don't disagree with them, but I don't think pulling the resource officer out of the schools and leaving them without one is the right thing to do.
I'm not advocating
I agree.
against pulling anybody out.
I know, but that's what would happen, I think.
No. You're putting the onus back on each school district. I'm just saying, as a taxpayer in the Goodhue School District and the Lake City School District, why am I subsidizing Zumbrota Mazeppa School District and this one and Pine Island? It's that basic.
I understand.
Each district, we're responsible for our budget here at Goodhue County, not Zumbrota Mazeppa School District. That's what we're talking about right now. So that's all I'm rolling with. I fully support the school resource officers, having them in there and doing what they're doing.
In the contract, we can get out of it.
Okay.
So
There is
I
an
see.
out clause. So
I see.
approving a 3-year contract still gives us the opportunity to get out
Yeah.
with 180-day notice, which we'll get the information back. We can do that.
Okay.
All right, it has been moved and seconded.
Are we going to with the 3-year contract? Okay. I thought maybe if we wanted to adjust it to make it the 1 year, or like you say, we do have the out clause.
So if we don't like the information we get, we can always talk about ending it early.
Maybe cleaner to do a 1-year contract than pull out of the contract.
They would know that then.
So Sheriff, would you be open to coming back for maybe a committee of the whole or whatever, once we have the information that Commissioner Betcher is suggesting?
But what we're gonna find is there aren't that many sheriff's offices that actually, at least in our region. And because a lot of the school districts, yes, they're in bigger towns, they're gonna have their own, like Redwood.
Yes.
So you're not gonna find you're not gonna get any information from the suburban.
It might be helpful to have some about the
Districts.
cities too, just what they're charging, if you can get.
Yeah,
Smaller
I'd have to go
towns.
through League of Minnesota Cities on that. I could see what they can gather too, though.
Sure.
We're in line with what revenue's
What they're doing.
paying.
Yeah.
We're all at 60%. And that's what
Yes.
we came up with. So yeah, if the county administrator finds information or gets that from AMC, that'd be great. Otherwise, I can reach out to the Sheriff's Association as well.
Sure, be helpful.
The difference to me is if the city of, I'll take Goodhue, for example, city of Goodhue put an officer in the school and they gave any kind of a break, it's all on the city residents. Doesn't go on any of the township residents because they don't pay the city taxes. Same in Zimbrota. If any of it goes to, any costs are incurred by the city, it's only city residents that are paying those, not the county, out county residents.
So it doesn't,
Whereas when the county does it, we include all those in that tax base that are paying for that service at that school. So it's to me, it's more of an equalization. It does level the playing field versus having a city cover some of the costs, and all that cost is borne by the city residents.
Well, not necessarily, because your school district encompasses more than a city, so you are.
But if the city gives a break and it's costing the city $10,000 a year to put a student resource officer in the school, the city is
Correct.
paying that $10,000. Whereas if the county is giving a break, it's spread with
Sure.
throughout the whole area.
Or the district does it because it's the district. The district individuals that pay for that school district pay for their school resource officer. It's cleanest that I could ever imagine.
Right. You know, and you make a good point. Why should Kennewanna-Mingo residents pay for the Zimbrota or subsidize the ZM or subsidize the Cannon Falls or the Lake City?
If we're all
I get
for
your
it,
point.
I, probably not, but I would almost say then put forth the motion if we want to do it, that we say if we're going to subsidize it, then each district, but then we can go per capita and shove out another, 20,000 to Red Wing, 20,000 to Lake City, Kenyon and Cannon Falls. But
well,
it
how
might
about,
be a bigger fish to fry, folks. So
how about we agree to a 1-year contract, not a 3-year contract? We get the information, we have a committee of the whole, and we talk about this further.
We've got a motion and a second on the floor, so we either got to withdraw the motion or vote.
I would- Withdraw the motion or ask. I don't know the process.
Correct.
I don't get why it's such a big deal, but I'll withdraw my motion. I think it's the wrong thing. It's the wrong message to send to the public.
Mhm.
It just really is.
Well, to me, the message is we don't want to pull out of the school, but we want to make sure we're doing the best we can as far as the Goodhue County taxpayers. So that's the message that I'm trying to send. Not that we want to not provide support to the school.
I think, and I'll go back to my point, any school district came forward and asked us, I would support it.
Yeah, so you'd do it at the discount to any of the districts.
I would do yes, I would do the same contract to any district that wanted it in Goodhue County.
And I'd just like more information before deciding that.
Would it be feasible then to look at all the schools come up with some possible formula or whatever, and then ask each one of the school districts whether or not they want to be part of it? Or is that getting too big and too complicated?
I think we don't understand, what we don't understand is the ability of school districts to tax, what they can, I think we think school districts can tax just like we want. We need to add a program, we can add a program and we add it to the tax. It's not that easy in the school district, not nearly as easy in the school district to do
Yeah.
that. So to fund it from a school district's point of view
A
is
referendum.
more difficult
Yeah, I understand.
than from our side being funding the sheriff's office.
Yeah, I don't see the problem in getting more information. And
No?
Scott thought maybe he could get some information from the Minnesota School Board Association as well, just to understand kind of what they're doing.
I'm fine with that.
Right. I think it's pretty clear with that. We need more information.
That's what I think, yeah.
Being we are going to get more information, maybe we'd want to just take this item as one of your study items for the year and then not do anything different with this contract because I'm sure they've planned on this at this point. And I just, one other thing, I don't want to speak for Sheriff Kelly, but some of the other sheriffs, when we've talked about this in the past, they felt there was a very big benefit to the county to have officers, not only in the schools, but an additional officer within these communities. And I think part of why, some of you, sometimes you see the cities step up is that I think the sheriff would typically yield to the cities if the city wanted to do it, as opposed to the county. But anyways, I think we can get more information. We can study this year. I don't know that we need to, shake the apple cart here right now, and because as I'm sure this is their plan. We have an officer there now, so.
Right.
Do you see it as a big problem to reduce it to a year, gather information?
It's
and-
just,
It's
I don't see it as a big problem. I don't want to scare the
No, I don't want to scare
school
them either.
district away from that either. And-
Yeah.
And again, we got Pine Island's contract coming up too. I think they're researching it. So if we are going to do that, we probably need to know today. If we're going to change that one too.
Mhm.
To a 1 year.
So if we go forward from today without approving any contract, we don't have a contract with Zumbrota and we have an officer in the school.
Contract with Zumbrota ends in June.
It ends in June.
And could you gather information by the February meeting?
Yeah, I'm sure these surveys can get out pretty quick too. I do think we want to be pretty careful on the message we send though. Too. Remember, probably a decade ago, we talked about privatizing or shutting down the jail and we lost probably $400,000 of revenue from Dakota County by doing it. So.
You also need to remember the city of Zumbrota, school district of Zumbrota picked up the county as a school resource officer for budget issues. They were paying full boat. Mr. Grimsrud maybe could attest. You don't need to add him up. He may have more recollection of it than I do, but they used the county to help their budget out. They were paying more, and now they're paying less. They use it as a budget aspect. So just keep in mind that aspect. So it's not throwing them in limbo or doing anything. But I think we've got enough information if we need to move forward from this to get rolling. So either we're doing a 1 year, 3 year, whatever you choose.
All right. Do we have a new motion?
I'll make a motion to do a 1-year contract so we have time to gather information.
I will second that.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All right. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
All right, motion passes. On to the regular agenda. Thank you, Sheriff.
We'll get back to that.
Yes, thank you.
If they approve the 1 year contract.
Well,
Oh, good point. County Administrator's Report.
Okay, each year the county board's required to contract for newspaper publications, and we are required to accept bids for our first meeting of the year. And I have 2 bids here that I will open up. They're both received on time. The first one is from the Republican Eagle, and their bid is for the first insertion is $5 per column inch, subsequent insertions, $5 per column inch. The second bid is from the News Records Umbro Shopper, and the first insertion is for $865 and the second insertion is for $750. So with that, the recommendation would be go with Republican Eagle at $5 per column inch and the subsequent insertions at $5 per column inch.
Do we need a motion on that? and vote on
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Right? We have a motion for acceptance.
Move to accept the low bid.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, the second item is the 2023 county board meeting dates. By statute, the board is required to set up their regular meeting schedules. Staff is recommending that we have our regular schedule as first and third meetings of the month. I do want to note some other notations where they're held at different locations. And Tuesday, May 2nd at 9 a.m. at the Kenyon City Hall. And I'd also like to add that we'd like to have our annual ditch meeting at that meeting as well. July 3rd, 10 a.m. at the Cannon Valley Fair, Cannon Falls. Thursday, August 10th, 10 a.m. Goodhue County Fair in Zumbrota. Thursday, December 7th at 5 p.m. County Board in the County Boardroom, and that's due to AMC. I also note 5 other times where the County Board likely would have more than 3 members present. So with that, we'd like a motion for the board to set their regular meeting times and dates for the first and third Tuesday. And I would note that you certainly have the option of continuing on with 9 a.m. meetings first and third Tuesdays. But I also would note that pre-COVID, the board did have one of them at 5 if that was something you wanted to do. I think from staffing standpoint, we'd probably prefer the 2 9 a.m. meetings, but certainly have that option.
Move approval of the meeting times being at 9 a.m. and the dates for out county meetings noted, and the other dates noted as far as other known events.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion about the dates or times?
Yep, we had a little discussion. I would hope we would take this up during our board workshop about how we're going to transition. I get that staff prefers a 9 a.m. meeting, but also that it's nice to have a 5 o'clock meeting for other issues too, for board members and other stuff. So I'd like to have more conversation with it at our board workshop to see how it fits everybody else too. So I don't know that this is necessarily set in stone. If we move this, that other meeting is going to be at 9 o'clock or so. At this rate, I won't support that.
Being the COVID commissioner, how many, did we have a public attend the 5 o'clocks? I mean, I like that option for if somebody else wants to come in after work too. You know, everybody is, did we have much participation?
Yeah, I've been doing this 28 years now. In general, what I've seen with the public's participation is the public participates when they're affected. And if they're going to be affected and you had the meeting at midnight, they'd show up. So I haven't ever seen that there's more participation at 9 or 5 because there's plenty of people who work at 5 too. So
It's just that it pulls staff that have to be here to report.
right, and some of them are OT or have to put in overtime too.
Yep.
Others are on comp, et cetera.
Is their schedule, or could they adjust their schedule to take 2 hours in the morning instead of, or, I mean, is that flexible enough to?
In some cases, yes. In other cases, the work's there. I mean, let's face it, Tuesdays are our busiest day for a lot of us.
I also have township meetings, city council meetings that happen Tuesdays all year long. And if we meet at 5, you don't make it to them.
this is able to adjust this, say we get into our workshop and we want to change that, this is flexible enough to
I'd
change.
like the county attorney to clarify, because I do believe on this where you're actually setting your regular meetings, if you change them after they're set as regular meetings, I believe they become special meetings, but the county attorney can clarify. I'm not a lawyer.
That is correct. That would be my understanding. You're setting the normal meeting schedule today. And if you change that during the course of the year, that meeting will become a special meeting. It just means that your agenda has to be set ahead of time. You can't modify the agenda at the meeting like you can at a general.
Is the date or the time
Requires
specific?
publication, requires notice to the public, all that has to be regarding the special.
It is for both date and time.
Date and times.
Well, it wouldn't settle it for this year at our county board goals meeting. Could we discuss it then and move forward starting in 2024? Would it be
Yeah, if that's the board's
different?
wishes,
That's what,
you could do it now too, but I'm hearing that people do want to discuss it too, so.
Is it a quarterly option? Could we do a 5 o'clock meeting, 4 times a year or something? Or-
What you don't want to do is make it not routine for the public, so they don't really know when the board's meeting. I
Yeah.
mean, now they know that the board meets at 9 o'clock, first and third Tuesdays.
But like you said, if it's an issue that's affecting them, they're going to be there regardless.
Yes, they are. That's what I've seen.
But maybe we do it on a sample. Maybe what if the public does start showing? I would love to have an option if they want to come. I mean, we did this on our township and one board member was against it and the other 2 were for it, to go to a different time in the meeting. So, but I don't know.
have we ever had major complaints from the public
No,
regarding 5 o'clock?
no,
not-
no, because just the same, if you're on shift work, you can't come, a lot of people can't come to a 5 o'clock meeting either. Like I said, if you're going to be affected, that's when you come.
You show up.
I mean, I know myself, if I've ever attended a county board meeting in a different county, it was because I was going to get affected and I took a day off. So
It's agenda driven.
it's agenda driven,
Yeah.
yeah.
And are we going to be able to stay on the computer,
Yes,
virtual?
Yep.
At any time, we'll be able to.
we can. I mean, it's a question of what level we want to be at. And I think that's a great workshop discussion, but this is kind of makeshift right now. It works, but it's not a professional production by any means. No offense to anybody, but I know everybody's doing their best, but this is a little bit makeshift, so.
And we can still do this only because the emergency declaration is still in effect?
You can live stream your board meetings no matter what.
Oh, live stream, yeah.
Yeah.
And basically that's live stream, poor quality, but live stream,
The part about still being able to do it because of the pandemic, that part allows for a commissioner to be able to still do it virtually.
All right, but that is still in effect, correct?
It's, the pandemic is still in effect through January 14th or 15th. I don't know if anybody from HHS is here, and they have to give us 90 days notice if it's going to end. So I can tell you that it's not going to end on January 14th. It'll likely be renewed for another 90 days.
Okay.
So it's probably going to, what is that? That kicks us out to April 15th or so.
All right, and we can put this on our agenda for the board
Yep.
workshop, correct?
Andrea's probably already written it down.
All right. All right, it has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Sheriff's report. Contract for law enforcement mental health and wellness services.
I thought those were on the consent agenda too. What's the first one on there?
Contract for law enforcement mental health and wellness services.
Okay, this has been in the works for quite a while. We're just trying to get our staff mental health support. We've implemented a peer support program. We've implemented a chaplaincy program, and we're doing what we can. Even then, I would say it's not enough, but last year we decided to reach out to a therapist who provides specific services to law enforcement. And we've come up with this, with the contract. We're very excited about this. And I guess I would just ask for approval of it. If anyone wants to talk about it, my patrol major is out today with his dad, but he was the one who actually set this up. But I'll stand for any questions on it.
Well, I just have a comment. I'm very happy to see this move forward. And I really like the idea that you are suggesting mandatory mental health checks for the first one so that everybody goes and nobody gets looked at one way or another. And also the importance of incident debriefings afterwards. That has proven to just be priceless.
Correct.
So I'm very happy for that.
I would add, thank you for that. I will add that we did try, we applied for a federal grant last year, and we were honestly waiting until October till we found out we weren't awarded it. But I had already committed to doing this one way or the other, so that is where we're at. We did not get the grant, but I'm requesting the fee, the $50,000 to cover those services.
Thank you. I'll move to approve.
I will second it.
All right, any discussion?
I would.
Yes.
Knowing, we've discussed this several times, and I like the mandatory, like you say, too. I don't care if they talk about the Vikings or the Twins or what.
And I know I will.
Just
Yeah.
go in. I mean, that's, you know, and I've 4 years on the fire department. I've been through several debriefings. It's huge, you know, and the officers are 10 or 20 times what I go through, but it's very important. So I'm definitely in support of it.
I also think the mandatory piece, once a person's had a connection, they're much more apt to use that than if they've never had the connection. So I think it will end up serving the officers better.
Oh,
because of
yeah,
that.
I'm very excited about this, but appreciate your support on it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
The next one is an unfortunate circumstance that came about with a recent resignation of our K-9 deputy. Matt Boatron has given his letter of resignation effective January 5th, I believe. We just got K-9 Gamble last year, was trained in March through May or June. We can't get into a St. Paul K-9 program until 2024. We looked into that even before we knew Deputy Boron was leaving. So we have plans to get another K-9 in 2024, but we can't do anything in 2023. So the problem is, one of the problems, K-9 Gamble was donated to us by K9s for Cops. We couldn't sell the dog. To be honest, I did reach out to Chisago County, who recently lost one of their K9s in a fire, and asked them if that partnership, if we could redonate it to their agency, and their K9 handler wasn't ready for that. But really, our only other option is to let the dog go with Deputy Boron and relieve us of any liability of the dog. And that's where we're at. So it's unfortunate that he's leaving and we don't have anybody to train for that dog. He's already been trained by Deputy Boron. It's tough once a new dog has been trained already. So I think it's best for our office and for our citizens that we didn't burn any bridges with K9s for Cops either. So we've already started those talks about, hey, maybe we can work again in partnership and get another one donated. That's where we're at. So I guess I would ask approval of this essentially contract with Deputy Boron, where he purchases the dog and we relieve ourselves of any liability for the dog.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you went through K-9 for Cops, if they don't have any method of placing the dog.
No,
either, that
we
was in their
were in
benefit.
extensive talks with them about this.
Yep.
Essentially, they said we will retire that dog. And I'll be forward with you. I think Deputy Boron may or may not, after his probation in Rochester, he's going to Rochester. And I've talked to the chief. He said, I'm not hiring your dog. I don't want your dog. But if circumstances work where Deputy Boron would end up taking over the canine, well, then Canines for Cops said, well, if that's the case, we'd revisit re-implementing his service for Rochester. But that's neither here nor there for us.
How many, we have 3 canine officers?
We do, yes,
Currently we do, but once his resignation, then we're down to 2.
correct.
And I don't know what the policy on this is, maybe don't have to discuss it here, there, but, so it's been a year, this is his first canine with Deputy Boron?
Not his first canine.
Okay, so he's been within the program. He made the commitment to being a canine officer, and I don't know if we have any year or length requirement saying you want to be a canine officer. You're going to consent to,
No,
Doing this for 2 or
historically,
3
it's just been the life of your dog,
okay,
essentially. And they
so is this
range
his second
anywhere
dog
from
or
5 years to 8 or 9. This
Okay.
is his second dog.
second dog? So he's been within the program for a while, so, okay.
We have another one that's only has a year left. And then one of our other canine handlers just took a position in boat and water. So we are likely going to be retiring that dog as well.
Yep.
And then when our other dog is retired, or will have to retire within the year,
Yep.
we will essentially be,
But as a dog that the deputy's moving to boat and water, is that dog past its useful life? I mean, we're not,
very, very close. He's about a year or 2. We are going to keep
Okay.
it on for probably call-outs, but he won't be designated.
I got you.
He won't be designated a canine officially.
Yep. Okay.
So there's a lot of moving parts within that division of the patrol. So,
Yeah, well, hopefully you get the board involvement too if there's questions. I mean, it's not cheap, the time that the Goodhue County invested. You know, I get this officer, but there's a lot of time, even with a new dog that they spend training. It's very unfortunate,
well,
this short time span that this
I know.
deputy decided to up and move on with the amount of time Goodhue County
When the chief
put into him.
When the chief called me
Yep.
and explained the situation, I said, boy, if you are going to use that dog, I'd really like to get reimbursed for some of the training that we, 4 months of canine training. He essentially said, no, I'm not hiring your dog, or I'm just hiring the officer. So that's where we're at. I did ask.
So then is he actually precluded from using the dog in law enforcement without coming back around?
Recruited after we sell the dog for $1?
Yes.
Yes, unless Canines for Cops says, okay, you can put him back in service. Unretire him, I think was the word they used.
Okay.
He would be precluded here, certainly.
Right. Well, yes, very unfortunate
Yeah, it is.
all the way around.
Mhm.
All right. We have a motion to accept the canine separation.
I'll
Here
make
for
that
you, Marty.
motion.
Second.
Regretfully.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on this? All right, all those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Thank you.
All right, motion passes. Thank you, Sheriff. All right, for your information, county board committee reports. Any reports over the holidays? No. New or old business? Committees, you wanted committees brought up.
Well, yeah, just to note that on the list, the water planning policy group will disappear. It's on the back of the page.
When is that, bro? 2023?
We don't need to appoint anybody because of the two, one watershed, one plans, do all that work. And so there's no sense for us to have another group. The other one is the research, conservation and development, which is Hiawatha Valley or Hiawatha Research and RC&D will be disbanding. And hopefully, well, by the next meeting, I should have something here for us to approve to disband. And then that will go away. So we won't need to make an appointment to that.
Did you get somebody to cover that meeting for you?
Actually, I talked with the chair of that group, And he's going to get me the information. We're going to put something together, pass a motion here, if the commissioners agree, to agree to the disbandment and then send a letter stating that from the county. That will suffice. Nobody has said that they'll go to that meeting. So those are the two that are going to be gone. Just wanted to point that out as you think about that. And then you'll be making appointments, Linda, as we move forward?
Apparently.
Yeah,
All right.
so submit these to Stacy, and then I'll get a draft to Linda, and she
All
can
right.
go through it. And just, just because you were on something last year doesn't mean you guys can't talk and find some, other people have different interests.
All right. Do you have a date you want that sent by?
No.
Immediately?
Week or so,
A week?
week could be
All
good,
right.
so we can get it on the
Then 1
next
week?
agenda.
Excellent. Review and approve county claims.
Move approval.
All right, motion made, seconded.
Second.
It's been made and seconded. Any discussion on paying the bills? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
Move to adjourn.
move to adjourn. Second.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.